After making it to St. Martin, the real job begins. Over the next few weeks, I'm working as chase boat captain for the 203-foot Superyacht Sea Lion, prepping for charter, running 2 back-to-back 9-day trips, and handling whatever comes my way in between. From the chaos of New Year's in St. Barth's, packed with super yachts and non-stop tender traffic, to scouting anchorages ahead of the mothership, every day brings something different. Tight docks, constant guest movements, and high-pressure maneuvering, all while managing ongoing mechanical and electrical challenges with a chase boat. In this video, you'll get a real look at what the job is actually like. Prepping for charter, supporting guests, running logistics, and adapting when things don't go as planned. There are even moments when the chase boat ends up being towed behind Sea Lion and I'm living on board between it all. And to cap it off, a 121-mile crossing in rough conditions, 8-foot seas on the bow, and a long, slow grind to the finish. This is what life as a chase boat captain really looks like. Merry Christmas, it's the 25th. It is 3:15. We're getting ready to depart from St. Martin, and this is going to be a little bit of a touchy or extra challenging departure because we have to go through a very narrow bridge with a side wind. It's going to be easy on my boat, but much more difficult on the Sea Lion. They have only like 3 meters each side of the boat of clearance. Got a good crew, good captain. They should be able to handle it. I do have a slight job. I'm going to go in right before the Sea Lion because there's probably going to be multiple boats that are exiting at this opening because it's a timed opening. They're like a certain time they have outbound traffic and another hour they have inbound traffic. There may be like 6 openings a day or something, maybe 8. And my job is going to be to go right in front of the Sea Lion and be sure that there's no boats stopping in front of them. There it goes. Beautiful.
Out through the bridge. 8 meters.
You made it.
You go ahead.
Good job, Lance.
Oh yeah, 8 meters.
Oh, good job, team. Hey, that's everybody calling. It's a big deal.
Port side 3
All right,
meters.
let's go to Anguilla.
Holding it 2 meters and stop it.
I just came into the cabin to grab my big camera, and I heard something shh when I opened the door. The water in the sink was running, and it has filled up my little toiletry bag with water. Man, because I had it in there so it would be safe, but it turns out the handle to turn the water on is like you push it down to turn the water on, so as we were in the waves, boom, 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 it's turning on. Okay, reminder, turn the water pump off. Your underway trip. Look at that. Oh, man. What do you know? Hey, everything's clean now. We made it to the beautiful Rendezvous Bay. There's a lot of other yachts here. Actually, those 2 right there look exactly the same. You'll start to see a trend. There are quite a large number of yachts in the area for the new year. I suppose more than normal since the Bahamas recently introduced higher cruising fees, so more boats flocked farther into the Caribbean. Here comes the Sea Lion now. My boat cruises a bit faster than she does, so I generally get up on plane and run ahead. Now I wait on them to complete their anchoring operations and prep fenders for me to come alongside.
Just getting pulled alongside. This is always fun the first time. Good morning, it's the day after Christmas. I'm leaving the Sea Lion, headed back to St. Martin to pick up some flowers. It's just a little over 6 miles across, nice and calm this morning, so that'll be good. I made it safe and sound. Tidy up these duck blankets a little bit. Pretty decent little stop. The fee here for touch and go, which is what I'm doing, is like $16.46 euros. So it's a busy morning here at the touch and go dock. I pulled up once, tied off. I was the only boat here, and then since I've been here, there have been other boats kind of touching and going, picking up guests or other supplies, and I had to come off the dock after I received one load of flowers. Now my next load of flowers are right up at the dock. I have to wait for this cat to get off before I can get up there. And now they're just dilly-dallying, going over their safety spiel. They could do that on the way out. This makes you good at handling a big boat that's really hard to handle in tight quarters. So it's just nerve-wracking.
Then a dockhand signaled me to go around to the windward side of the marina for my next pickup. This presented a much more challenging docking situation as I was being pushed onto the dock and didn't have much room to maneuver being so long of a boat. But I made it work without incident and got the fresh flowers for the charter.
Holy crap, getting out of there was not fun. I was woo. That's all it takes though. You just gotta make it. All right, back to the Sea Lion with a load of flowers. So right now I'm in St. Kitts, departing from the Sea Lion. I'm headed up towards St. Bart's. The sun is just setting. I have about an hour and 10-minute run once we get up and running. And we need to do so as quick as we can. There's gonna be a lot of boats there, the rumor is. I just hope the boat runs good. Been having some more issues, but we've been dealing with them best we can. All right, let's go. Woo! Beautiful sunset. We're going up somewhere. We're safely cruising. All our safety gear on, just in case. It's supposed to be really pretty calm, so, but the swell is coming out of the northeast. No, yeah, I think northeast, which is the other side of the island. So as soon as I come around the point, then we'll get a little bit of swell, but it shouldn't be too bad. Yeah. light for a minute. Oh, I gotta turn all my screens back on. Well, we'll go in the cabin. Oh boy. Then some goings on is in here. We made it. And it's tough to find a spot to anchor. I had to kind of come around from the main anchorage where all the big yachts are, and there are a bunch of freaking big yachts. Holy crap. There's one little spot, what was it, Sand Beach or something? I tried to go in and anchor, but there was 2 cat sailboats in there and some buoys, so I couldn't anchor with those buoys because I would have swung into them in the one spot where I could have got. So I came around to this cool little place, and it is so gorgeous, even at night. Got rocks on 3 sides, mountains on 3 sides of me, a little beach, clear water, like it's nearly a full moon tonight, and you can see the bottom with all the lights off. It is amazing. We have some battery, I don't want to say issues, but battery concerns. Well, screw it, we turn our engines off. Let's go turn on the underwater lights. All we need to do is crank the engines in the morning, and a lot of the switches are in the Garmin, so turn it back on for a minute. How's it look? Pretty good? I grabbed a shower on the swim platform. Now it's time to go to bed. I bet it's going to be a beautiful anchorage in the morning. But we got to be on the sea line at 7 a.m. So we're going to be leaving here pretty early. Good morning. Slept okay last night. A little bit of swell coming in here. And the stern platform of this boat, when you come up on a swell and it comes down, it'll shutter the entire boat, so you don't really sleep the best. But this is a beautiful place to wake up to. A little challenging getting the anchor in by myself in this wind and swell. I just don't want to overload the anchor windlass, so I'm constantly running back and forth to check the direction of the road, go back, adjust the boat, and pull in some road. But it's okay. Now we're going to go try to find the sea lion in the midst of all the yachts here. There's like 130 or a little over 130 super yachts here for New Year's. And today's 31st. Should be. No, today's only the 30th. Whatever. Dang, we're gonna be here for like 2 nights. And so it's about to get extremely busy for me on the tender, busier than it has been, and difficult in crowds and lots of traffic coming up to what I've been told is a tricky dock in itself. And so you add in some swell and a lot of people, and it's going to be even more tricky. This is going to be exciting. Let's go find the sea lion. I think I spotted her. Wait. No. There's a lot of white boats out here. Pretty sure I've got her though. This is the nightmare. Everyone trying to get to this one little dock. Just dropped off some guests to go shopping at St. Bart's, and this is the drop-off point over here, the little bitty dock. And you see all these boats trying to get there, but they can't get here because this is like sectioned off for ferries only. So everyone's jockeying for over there. This is terrible. And the hardest part is I have the largest chase boat tender here, and it's probably also the most difficult to maneuver. Just make it good though if you can handle this. We'll see if I can.
This time lapse off the stern of the boat will help you get an idea of what it's like navigating throughout the anchorage and to the dock as I head in to pick up 2 guests that are arriving. Here you can see Josh, the excellent bosun on Sea Line, doing some last-minute cleaning. He's filling the bucket with fresh water that he'll then use to wipe salty spots on the boat. Cleaning is something that is upheld to a very high standard, even more so when guests are around. At this point, I'm making my way into the harbor itself, and this is where the traffic starts to get congested. We're a bit early to ensure that our guests do not have to wait for us at the dock, so I'm taking my time getting in. Check out that yellow submarine on a mooring ball over there. That's pretty cool. Then you can see the Chief Officer Wesley prepping a stern fender. Then I try to stage myself off the dock and out of the way. When the yacht is on charter, the workload and responsibilities increase. The pressure is on, the stressors are felt. In this type of team and environment, only high performers make it. Performance is key, and staying hydrated is imperative, so I'm consuming plenty of Element, with its 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium. At a minimum, I'm doubling up on the nutrients daily, but even when I'm not in this type of situation, it's part of my daily routine for better health and performance. I believe everyone can and should benefit from it. If you shop through my link, drinklmnt.com/tripsmith, Element is including a free sample pack with your order, so grab yourself a box of 30 of your preferred flavor. My favorites are watermelon and citrus salt, and use the free sample pack to discover your favorite. Thank you, Element, for sponsoring this video, and thank you all for supporting those who support the channel. After we get the word that the guests are ready for pickup, I quickly move into position at the seawall. Then this sailing cat pulls in behind me, obviously coming to the dock, so I move forward whenever a boat in front of me departs. Then the guests come aboard, and we make our way out. Notice the other boats jockeying for position to get up to the dock. It's pretty chaotic. Heading back out to the sea line, I cut through the mooring field to save time. This is slightly frowned upon, but in this instance, I deem it the best route. Next, the pressure is on to approach the swim platform at the stern of the main yacht. It's a tricky maneuver, especially when you're dealing with wind, current, and chop. For this approach, the breeze was a little stiff. The crew on the yacht are standing at the ready while I wait for the sea lion to swing favorably before I make my approach. Once it does, we have one shot to catch the dock lines and secure them on the chase boat. Unfortunately, the first attempt wasn't quite good enough, so I'll circle back around for another. The second try was a success, and the guests are quickly welcomed aboard. The chase boat doesn't need to sit on the swim platform long in these conditions. Next, we drop the lines, and Josh and I prepare to come alongside the yacht. He's on the bow where he'll connect the bow line, then I'll ease the Nortec back into position and connect the remainder of the lines. Then, the cushions are covered if the conditions warrant it to keep them clean and dry, followed by the shore power cord. We only got more proficient at this procedure throughout the charters and really started to look like the pros we are by the end. I left out of St. Bart's on New Year's Day at 3:15 a.m. when I got out of the anchorage and on plane on my way to St. Kitts, which is where I am now. I arrived at St. Kitts at 4:30 or so, dropped anchor by myself, and I was down at like 5 a.m. and then waiting on the sea lion to get here. I was up the next morning around 8 and came alongside the sea lion, and then took to get snorkeling ashore. We had a really good snorkel. I think that was, took the boss swimming. I think that was that day. And then we did water sports and stuff the rest of the day. The day after that, which was yesterday, took one of the guests snorkeling in the morning, saw lionfish, some beautiful, pretty good size, exotic, colorful fish. And then after that, we had our deck Olympics, or water Olympics, I'm not sure what we actually called them. Essentially, we set up a bunch of games and had two teams, like crew and guests, all mixed, and just doing all these competitions. One of them was a rope swing competition. I was filming the thing, but I did a little fill-in for someone who didn't want to go off the rope swing. I did a double backflip, which was fun. But after we finished that, I got to finishing up the edit because I created a vacation video for the guests of their charter, and we presented that to them last night on the sun deck, essentially the top deck of the Sea Lion on a big projector. It was really fun and they enjoyed it. That was the last full day of the charter. Then we got up this morning and, well, what do you know, Trump invaded Venezuela, so now the airspace is all on a lockdown, so the guests can't leave today, and they're still on board, which is fine. We're still having a good time. And hopefully we can go back to St. Martin and have work done. Speaking of work done, after I picked up the crew at like 2 a.m., I came back to the Sea Lion, was going to top off my hydraulic steering fluid, which has a leak, and was popping up my engine hatch, and just hydraulic fluid was just spurting out of one of the hydraulic rams that lifts my engine hatch, and that's another problem. Now we can't lift the engine hatch, and I have a hydraulic steering fluid leak, so we have like enough steering fluid to do a couple more things on this, hook up a tow before we go back to St. Martin tomorrow, hopefully. So there's obviously quite a lot going on, but it's still absolutely gorgeous. So it's not a bad place to be stuck. We are ready to get to St. Martin and get all our ducks in a row for the next charter. We have to prepare for that, have boats prepared, and oh yeah, we got to fix a fender for the swim platform. I came in too hot one night and broke one. Fortunately, we didn't damage either boat, but the guests were on board. It wasn't a totally dramatic thing. I mean, everyone handled it well, but it's just an unfortunate incident that occurred. My fault. Well, good news. We just dropped off the guests. The plane is landing now. Unloaded all their luggage. They're going to be back on their way home. And we're going to head back to St. Martin for repairs, provisions, mud, garbage, all kinds of good stuff. Prepare for the next charter. The choice was made to put the Nortec on a tow line for this crossing due to a hydraulic leak, so I spent my day helping the deck crew prepping for St. Martin and rinsing down the Sea Lion. Had a pretty good day today. Pretty busy working on this boat and the big boat, and just finished eating dinner. And I'm about to go rest for a little bit. Have provisions for the second charter are coming in. They're being flown in, and they're going to be ready for pickup at the dock at like 9 or 9:30, maybe 10 o'clock. The plane got delayed. So I'm going to go rest before we have to load up on this boat, head in to the police dock and load up with provisions, then come back out and offload all the provisions onto the Sea Lion, and then we have to hook up a tow and head to the BVI's, and then unhook the tow at, 3 or 4 in the morning. A lot to go. Well, we just hooked up the tow. One on this side. Okay, get stuck close again. So I kind of looked out tonight. I'm not sleeping in the captain's office like I did last time my boat was towed. I get to sleep in one of the guest cabins. It's downstairs. This is an elevator. It's part of the beautiful interior of this boat. Let's go down and hop in the cabin and get to sleep, because I have about 8 hours till we arrive in BVI. So cruise around the corner here. Here's my cabin. Of course, we got sheets on the floor because everything's super crazy clean. I don't know where the bathroom is. Maybe this is it. Where's that at? Oh, this is it. Oh, it's very nice. Towel warmer. Nice big shower. Man, let me check this out. Oh, look
this stuff. Oh, yep, closet. Check out this thing. This is like a call button, basically. When you want to call stewardess, you boop, push the button. And all the cabins have names. Portofino, and I'm in the Elba. Good morning. It's 5 a.m. Just disconnected the tow and headed into Tortola. Getting ready to take on some fuel because we have to make a run to St. Thomas today. This is how it's done. Right out the window. Alright, headed to St. Thomas. Pick up some flowers and a couple paddle boards. It's beautiful out here. Pulling into St. Thomas, we're headed to American Yacht Harbor. Got all my lines and fenders prepped and ready to go. Gotta be ready single-handed on this bad boy. So just got back from getting flowers, and you can see I had to use all my shoes and all my other stuff to kind of secure all the things, and of course this crate keeps falling out. But I had this whole thing full of flowers back there and here. And now we are moving a little bit to the west, no, the east, no, yeah, the west. And that's the Sea Lion pulling up anchor now. It's a beautiful area. Everywhere is beautiful around here though, pretty much. Coming into another anchorage, close to where we're picking up the guests tomorrow. Back here behind all these cats. We are just south of Great Camino. Right up here, Tortola, Great Camino. So we're picking up the second set of guests, and we had a quick little shower come through and we dried the boat, and now look what's coming. Big shower. Fantastic. We got all the guests on board, and I ran ahead of the Sea Lion to Virgin Gorda to check out the channel coming in here, and then the anchorage. Be sure there's not too much swell, and there's not. It's absolutely gorgeous, like pretty much everywhere here. There's a lot of cats. There's tons of the rental cats, like the moorings, stuff like that here, and apparently that's obviously very popular, but it's a great place to do it. Check out this. Whoop. It's a pretty cool little restaurant resort right up here by the anchorage, which is protected. Let's just spin around. Got a decent boat here, but got a tall ship, a cruise ship there. That's pretty cool. So we may be doing a sunset cruise later tonight, so I'm go ahead and I'm cutting through the marina and through all the anchorage and stuff and laying down some tracks so that I know where I am tonight. Makes things a little bit easier, less likely to make a mistake. There's buoys like that you won't be able to see very well at night. I don't want to be running through all those blind. We just dropped the guests off at a restaurant, and I'm the DJ, and they love my playlist I made for them. And they said, hey, when we come back, play some Prince, not Purple Rain, to make it fast. They're a really good group, and they just went to eat somewhere really nice. So check out the drives on this boat. Oh, triple diesels, triple 550, so 1150 horsepower. Pushes her about, I've had her 47 knots, and she starts to get warm. And I think she's got more in her. She's a 50 knot plus boat. Goodbye, bitter end. On to the next. Headed to the bath this morning.
I don't look the way the average cowboy sailor looks. I get out of doing things and you should too. You read a different story with a lot of different books.
Look at these folks. Just pulled up to the bath, and here we go. War Eagle, baby. They're from Auburn, Auburn, Alabama. That's so cool. So we're stopped here at the baths, which is very beautiful and an iconic spot to go hang out around the rocks. We have just caught a mooring ball, and you can't go up to the beach. So we have the second of the three tenders alongside, and we use this to shuttle the guests up to the rocks. And it's a little swelly right here where we are. The Sea Lion was anchored right back there. but they have gone ahead to the next island. You can see over there, I think they're going around the backside and getting some protection. We'll meet them there later. Up and running this morning, headed to Dead Man's Bay. So I'm scouting Dead Man Bay for our next anchorage. It's absolutely beautiful, nice anchorage. Almost enough, or probably enough space for us, but the beach is protected by a buoy line. One of today's stops is going to be the famous Willie T's. Basically a floating bar out here. It's supposed to be a wild place. But just around the corner, there's some caves that are supposed to be good for snorkeling as well. So now we dropped anchor right here on the lee of the caves. We're going to go snorkeling in about 30 minutes. So what does that mean for me? It means the boat needs to be ready. So we need to have a cooler with water and other soft drinks, cooler with alcohol, bag of towels, all the snorkel gear, sea bobs, everything ready to go for the guests. Here we come! All right, we're tied up, ready to rock and roll. I need to go ask the DJ if he'll let me play some tunes. We could rock this boat. The DJ wouldn't let us rock the boat, so I was like, everybody get on, we're leaving. So I cranked the tunes up. We did 2 really slow laps around Willie T's, blaring the jams and everybody dancing and getting down. Then we cruised through the anchorage, through the mooring balls, jamming. Whenever somebody on some boats would start dancing with us, I'd do a slow lap around their boat, and we just kept cruising. Then we went back to Willie T's and did another lap. I stopped at the back and just spun the boat in one circle, and the place just goes crazy, and then we cruise back to the boat. Having a blast. Oh yeah, and the guests went and bought every crew member a t-shirt. When we got back to the boat, we all changed. This is our uniform for tonight, and we just took photos with the guests and the crew and just having a good time. And then they had pizza night up on deck. So right now we're at Joost Van Dyke. Guests are enjoying themselves up at the Soggy Dollar, and we're just waiting till they're done to pick them up from the beach on the custodian tender, bring them to the Nortec, and then we run them back out to the sea line. So it's kind of a chill day. It hasn't been too busy. The wind's picked up. It's a little rough. We don't have very good protection where we are. So not on a water sport and things like that, but I guess that's a great spot to hang out. So we're doing a little night ops. Guests want to go to the bar. What's the name of the bar?
Foxy's.
Foxy's. So we took them to Foxy's. How long were they up there?
Not even 5 minutes, eh?
I'll give them 10 minutes. They were there 10 minutes. Now we got to cruise all the way back to the sea line. I was in the shower and I got a call. They said, "Hey, Trip, the guests want to go to Foxy's." I'm like, "Oh no, you're kidding me, right?" They weren't kidding. Good morning. Today is guest drop-off day, which is always a good milestone to get to. Ooh, gotta go. Sorry about that. Had to go pick up an engineer from the airport, and then in a little while I gotta go take another engineer back to the airport so he can go home. And then we are taking luggage, and then another trip probably with guests to the airport, and then I'm setting off for St. Bart. And that's some things going to get really interesting. Granted, it's already interesting now. It's pretty junky weather here, although we're in some protection right now. but the crossing is like 95 nautical miles, which is like, I don't know, 105, 110 miles or so, and 2.5 meter seas, which is like quite a bit, and the seas are kind of on my port bow, so basically straight at me almost, and then we have like 20 to 30 knots of wind on the bow, so it's going to be an exciting crossing, and we're taking one crew member with me. Our original plan was to tow, but it's too rough to tow safely, so we're running it. Let's just hope the boat runs all the way. All right, time to make a nasty run. We're running from Tortola to at least St. Bart's, maybe even St. Thomas. We have to make a stop there. Me and Eric.
Oh yeah, baby.
It's gonna be a rough ride. We're gonna make it happen.
Let's see how this goes.
Whoa! Oh! That'd be bad.
Nah, man, we're crazy, man. Crazy. All of the desk guy. His fault.
Wow.
Captain of the ship.
We survived. Is that water in my lens? Just barely. It is 11:35. We're in St. Bart's, anchored up at Shell Beach, and oh my gosh, that was a long. How long was that? Dude, you know how many hours that was?
Hey. More than 8 hours.
1, 2, 3. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.5 hours. 9.5 hours. That was rough. I had to take a saltwater shower because our water tank emptied itself in the rough water. Kind of my fault, a little bit. Kind of not. Kind of the boat's fault too. And Sea Lion is on its way. They'll be here in 2 hours. But we're just gonna sleep though, or try to. Best we can. There's not really a good spot to anchor here, but we are spent. Good night. Well, we got a little bit of sleep last night. Wasn't the best sleep, but I just dropped my crew member Eric off at the Sea Lion, and they're preparing to come in and catch a pull it to the marina, stern to, drop anchor off the bow. So I'm gonna head in, finally get some calm water, and wait on them. I was kind of thinking I wasn't coming back here, but I'm sure it's gonna be a lot better with not near as many boats. So a few extra details about yesterday's crossing. It was really rough. Just going for big seas. It was big seas. There was
we can whatever.
Big seas with big chop on top of it. So essentially you have these massive rolling swells, which are like the size of a house, just rolling through. Then you have massive windblown chop on top of that. We average like 11 knots for 9.5 hours. And the problem would be whenever you'd go up a large swell and there'd be a big chop on top of it, and then you'd hit that chop, and then the bottom would just fall from under you, and just a massive crash would happen. Sometimes the crash would happen with the boat flat and level, so it would land decent, but sometimes you'd get another piece of chop that would kick you sideways, and then you would crash like this, or like that. And those did not feel good for the boat. And during the 9.5 hours, we consumed no food, no water. We barely left standing right here. When you had to go to the bathroom, you stood right here, and you went right there. But there was plenty of water to wash it away. Plenty. And at one point, I did have to go down below. That was to fetch a fire extinguisher, because we got a very strong electrical burning smell, very strong, right after we had a few crashes, going 11 knots, mind you, which is slow. It's freaking slow. I have to get out of the way of the channel real quick. But it wasn't, or actually no, it was pretty bad during the daylight. Then when it got dark, it got worse, because you couldn't see. So you didn't know when these huge waves were coming. Like sometimes you would just see like a little strip of white, where like the white water, the top of the wave was like breaking a little bit as it was coming for you, and you're just like, oh, here it freaking comes. And you just get sent up, and you don't know if you're going to crash down, if you're going to land softly. Oh man, it was brutal. And then you guys saw in the video where the speaker, came dislodged from the bow and just made its way down. You'd also get like bolts and screws and random things that would you just see like pass by. You're like, wonder where that came from. And you make a mental note. If you pick them, you pick them up, toss them in the cup holder, and you're like, all right, we got to find where this goes later. And I hope that's nothing important that's coming apart. And when it gets dark, you can't see what's coming apart. If there's damage, if we're taking on water, if we're doing things, you can't see that stuff unless you turn lights on and inspect it.